Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Alton West. Today, I will have guests on from the LaGrange Police Department. Also, I have on one of our local educators talking about an event coming up in the community that we can all take part of. So stay tuned for that interview coming up in just a moment. Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Today I have the pleasure of sitting down with one of my former students from when I was doing the team CPA at the LaGrange Police Department. We have with us senior first class, Lee Wynn. Lee, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Alton.
Well, it's a pleasure to sit down with you, Lee, and to see you have now grown to be the fine young man that you are and coming back and serving our community through law enforcement. Lee, tell us a little bit about your role there at the LaGrange Police Department, if you don't mind.
I'm a detective assigned to the property crimes unit. I'm on the crime scene unit and also work person-on-person crimes whenever they come out or is needed. Basically, I investigate entering autos, burglaries, auto thefts, things of that nature.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna reminisce back again, if you don't mind. And again, as I stated earlier, I'm probably gonna tell my age here because you were about middle school, getting ready to go to high school.
Probably so.
During the team CPA days. Talk about how that might have influenced you to pursue a career in law enforcement.
Okay. I believe that the department was able to reach people at a young age, something that we try to do now, but that also allowed me to experience what the police officers go through in a watered down version, but and just to see how the agency ran and things of that nature.
Okay, and you know, Lee, and not only are you in law enforcement, but your father's in law enforcement and works for the LaGrange Police Department too. Talk about having your dad there as an officer as well. What is that like for you?
Well, for me, it's like having a best friend that you can rely on, that you can bounce ideas off of. You can kind of de-stress, you know, because we both understand what goes on the street. We both work the roles. He was a detective, just as I am, and we've both been in a patrol capacity. So we see the stresses that it brings on families, and we're able to cope with it a little bit better, I think, and just take time together to talk about things and work things out.
Absolutely. You know, you're talking about the stress of it, and so many times I know that, you know, you don't want to take the job home with you, but to have someone that you can, you know, just kind of conversate, you know, about, and they understand. So sometimes, you know, wife, brothers, children, they don't quite understand it, and especially with the things that we see in the media today, they don't fully understand the situations that can change at a, you know, moment's blinking of an eye. But Lee, I know we're in the heart of summer, mid-July, almost the latter part of July now. School's out, you got more traffic on the road, you have more people out traveling, various things of that nature. And you alluded to some of the things that you are involved with on a day-to-day basis. Talk about some of the things you mentioned about entering autos. Talk about that and how people can just basically, you know, protect themselves.
Well, we see a higher percentage, I would roughly say about 85% of the vehicles entered in LaGrange that we investigate are unlocked. We see people that leave their valuables in plain view, and when you do that, anybody walking by that's a thief or that is looking for something to steal, they open the door and they take it. I would suggest people secure their items, whether it's in the glove compartment, under the seat, in the trunk prior to arriving at your destination, and just lock your vehicle. It doesn't take long to lock a vehicle. if your vehicle's ever entered, report it to us, no matter how small or how minute of something you feel that was taken. If we don't know about it, we can't show a trend, or we can't deploy proactive measures to try to catch the people.
Talking about trend, do you see this year, I guess what's the comparison last year to this year?
Compared to last year around this time, we're trending down on entering autos.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we're trending up on burglaries. We've been successful so far in making a number of arrests in burglaries and entering autos.
Oh, okay. Now, when you talk about burglaries, because people, sometimes, because I know we have like the 7 deadly sins or crimes there, or part 1 crimes, and burglary is one of those. Give us a definition of what burglary means, Lee, if you don't mind.
For somebody to enter your house or your residence without permission to commit a theft or a felony therein. If somebody breaks in your house and they assault you, if they break in and just steal something, that's a burglary.
Okay. And let me ask you a question, and I don't want to get too technical. A lot of times, again, we see on television where someone may have been doing just that, entering someone's home, burglarizing their home, and the property owner is there, and he hears him or her and defends their property. Unfortunately, sometimes they may shoot and kill him.
Right.
Would that property owner be charged?
Typically, no.
Okay.
If they're defending their property, if for instance, if you're at home asleep and somebody breaks into your house, you have a right to defend yourself, your family, and your property. The law doesn't say you have to ask them what they're doing there or anything like that. So you do have the right to defend yourself.
Okay. Because so many times, we hear, property, persons, those are the things that you do have the right to defend. And because we are in July and August, before school starts back, people may be taking vacation trips and things of that nature. Give us some safety tips that people can do to protect their homes while they're away.
I would suggest having a trusted neighbor or a family member come by your house while you're gone, pick your mail up, or stop the mail delivery from the postal service. Just have that person come by at random times during the day. Set timer lights in your house so that they go on and off at various points in the house, different times of day.
Okay.
They're so advanced now, you can have those things programmed to come on at any time. If you have an alarm system, use it. We find sometimes that people have alarm systems and they're too hesitant, or I say hesitant, maybe lazy to use them. But those really, a lot of times, give us the heads up that something's happened. Okay,
all right. And you're talking about, people don't think I watch television all the time. You're talking about the alarms at different times of the night. I was watching the other night this commercial, and this kid is playing with the phone. Did you see that?
Turn the lights on and off.
Right.
That's right.
And the old fellow's passing by, and he's, oh God, it's happening again. Yeah. So, but there's things like that. As funny as that is, and as silly, but it got his attention. And if someone is there for ill will, it probably will get their attention, and they probably will bypass that location.
That's right.
Again, we want to talk a little bit about auto theft too, because sometimes people not only enter all those, but they want to drive off with them. Talk a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
We've had a few instances this year that I've actually investigated where people have left a spare key in the vehicle, in the cup holder, and the car is actually unlocked. So that's just, to me, inviting someone to take your vehicle. As we approach the winter time, people will be going out to crank their vehicle to warm it up. Try to avoid doing that and leaving your vehicle unattended, because more often than not, there are people watching that. Believe it or not, people watch around and see what time people leave, and that particular way of stealing the car increases during the winter time.
And I'm guilty of that myself. Sometimes I go out and crank up the vehicle, and and not thinking anything about it. I'm right there in the kitchen area. I can just jet out the front door. But like you say, someone is up for ill will. All they need is an opportunity,
right?
And that gives them an opportunity. I'm going to kind of shift gears here now, Lee, because a lot of times we hear, down at City Hall, we've taken all the various necessary precautionary measures for the various viruses viruses and malware and all the other things. Sometimes we see people go online and purchase things. Craigslist, don't want to name any, all the other various Amazon, things of that nature, and then they go to pick up these items, and sometimes we have fatal things happen to them. Talk a little bit about that and how people can protect themselves as well. Online
transactions, purchases are obviously becoming more popular nowadays with your online yard sale sites. The LaGrange Police Department, that we actually have signs out there that say that it's a safe spot to complete that transaction. The front parking lot is recorded, has a camera running all the time. I would advise not to meet at your house, especially if you don't know the person. Now, if you know them, it's different. But if if you make that purchase and they say, well, I'll come to your house or meet me so and so, I would suggest meeting somewhere very public. The police department's always a safe bet. And take somebody with you if you have any doubt, or it's never a bad idea to have a second person there.
Absolutely. So many times, I think back to some of the young people and some of the seasoned individuals that have gone. I remember there was a couple that drove down to South Georgia that unfortunately lost their lives. A young kid up in the Atlanta area selling an iPhone, lost his life. What can, as you already stated, take someone with you, go to a safe location, or what other advice can you give them?
Just don't let them dictate where to meet.
Okay.
Because a lot of times we had a case a few months back where an individual drove down here from the Atlanta area to make a purchase and was unfortunately robbed. I don't know that the person selling the items ever had the intent to buy it, but we were successful in arresting that individual. But you just got to be careful, meeting up with people that you don't know.
Absolutely. Before we came on the air, Lee, you were sharing a story with me about an individual that had, I guess, a pre-printed check for like $495. And talk about that a little bit, if you don't mind.
Well, we had a case where an individual passed a counterfeit check to one of the local banks, and when we arrested him after the Mirandizing portion, and he agreed to disclose what had happened, he said that he had sold a laptop to an individual up in the Atlanta area, and the individual gave him a check that was pre-printed out. The check was a counterfeit check. And to me, that would have been a red flag there that, all right, if you just hand me a check that's already printed out for an amount that we didn't agree on, and then you tell me to drive to LaGrange to cash it, something should pick up there. But
bells and whistles should have gone off. Should have gone off. Well, Lee, just common sense things that we just want our public to be informed about. We thank you for coming on the show today, and thank you for what you do, you and your father, there in law enforcement, because I know what you guys go through on a daily basis. Absolutely. So, Lee, it's a pleasure sitting down with you, and thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you, Alton. I appreciate you having me.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for more City Week coming up in just a moment.
Nobody wants to be stopped by a law enforcement officer.
Everyone wants to feel safe.
So we've trained our officers to first listen and then explain.
We ask if you have contact with one of our officers, you listen, give him an opportunity to explain, comply with his requests, and if there's a problem, contact us so that we can investigate your complaint.
Listen, explain, comply, then complain.
Our safety and yours matters.
Welcome back, City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm being joined by one of our local educators here in our school system that has been on the show a number of times talking about a very worthwhile cause here in our community. We have with us today, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Michael Fanning. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure to sit down with you, Michael, and I've seen you and your brother grow up, and you now are a great figure in our community, educating the young minds of tomorrow. Talk a little bit about that, first of all, before we start talking about your cause.
I mean, basically, like you said, just educating the young minds mind. The youth is our future. It took me a while to grasp that concept. You know, I heard it when I was younger, and never really put too much thought into it until, you know, once you become an educator or become of age and you start teaching the youth, and like, man, the youth is the future.
That's right.
So you have to invest time to nurture and to grow the youth, because they are our future presidents. They are our future everything. So you got to put time and energy into the future.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you know, Michael, you've been on now with us about 3 or 4 times, and for a great cause. You were 2nd grade teacher out at Callaway Elementary School. Then you moved to 3rd grade at Callaway, male teacher, and with a predominantly female classroom, I think last time. Now this year you're going to be transitioning to a school that I think I met you at, Berta Weathersby. Talk about that.
With the DAP program.
That's right.
First and foremost, man, I have to give a big shout out to my Callaway Elementary family. Like that's number one. They raised me. They taught me a lot. Starting with 9 years ago with Sequita Freeman being my principal. Then boss lady AT Amy Thornton took over. And then under her administration with Woods, Grace, now Miss Brown, last year Mr. Reese, I learned a lot. And thank you to them. I mean, just all the way down from my 2nd grade staff, our teammates, Jackson, man, Monterella, man, Griffin, everybody, like everybody. Even if I left your name out, you already know. So thank you to them. But I mean, like it's been 9 years, so it's time for a transition. It's time to show what I learned from them and to go to the next chapter of my life, which is Berta. You know, and like you said, like Berta, I went to Berta Weathersby, so just to hear the negative stigma to that school, man, it hurt my feelings a little bit. So it's like, it felt good. It felt right. So I mean, I went to my principal. I said, I need to speak with you, and we went into the office, and she gave me the okay. And once she gave me the okay, like it felt right ever since.
That's good.
So Berta, we on the way. We finna change it around. So
very good.
We be coming.
Always, you know, it's always good to give back and to go back to a school that you came through to now, like again, impact the young lives. That has to be a significant and tremendous experience and feeling.
And that's what I tell a lot of my like present co-workers and some of the people that I spoke with. Like I went to this school, and just like the first time like walking back through, it was like, God, like it feels the same, but it feels different. You know what I'm saying? But just to go in the auditorium, you know, the old ghost stories about Miss Berta.
That's right.
That still goes on, and you know, just to walk up the steps, come down the steps, walk into that cafeteria, man. It's a good feeling, exciting, nervous, but I'm ready to hit the ground, man. I'm ready. I'm ready.
With your energy level, I know that the students, they better be ready. They better be ready. Absolutely.
They better be.
Well, Mike, we're here today to talk about something that you had going on now in our community for 10 years, and that is the annual haircuts and styles for kids for 2017. Talk a little bit about that and how it got started.
I mean, again, man, I told this story several times, but like I say, you know, 10 years ago, again, Craig went to Craig Davis, his staff, which was, I think, Flip, Antonio Hollowell, Brandon, and a few others. I mean, like I said, I went to them, and everybody was game to it. And then, like I say, it started with probably 20, 30 kids then, and you know, every year it progresses, and then that's the purpose. Like every year you try to add something new, or you try to add more people, and you know, we've been growing ever since.
Absolutely. And you know, it's so important, you know, not only do you do the haircuts, we're going to talk a little bit about backpacks that you're also donating to, but I was talking to the gentleman yesterday, and sometimes, you know, just to have that kid have that perception of how they look, you know, a fresh haircut, or you know, a new backpack, or in some cases, this organization that I was talking about yesterday, just putting ties on young men.
Yeah, man.
And it elevates their self-esteem so much. So when they come to you, they're ready to learn, they're eager to learn, and they keep up with your energy level.
I mean, that's the name of the game, man. Like that's the name of the game. From personal to sports, you look good, you feel good, you play good.
That's
you look good, you feel good, you do good. You know what I'm saying? So it's that stigma, which is a good one. You know what I'm saying? Like confidence is that self-confidence brings that, you know, I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's about. Like,
absolutely.
Period.
I'm going to jump in because back in on the 15th of July, you had a charity basketball game.
Right.
Talk a little bit about that and what those proceeds will do.
Right. So basically, it was the second annual, and the story behind that was, again, just to raise money and raise money in a different light, in a different way. So I went to I don't know if you're familiar with Scoop, Southern Scoop. Empire, young Scoop, little Scoop, the son. Me and him, that family, we grew up together. So I just went to him like, man, I need your help. Like, help me get a game. And the name of the game was Rookies versus Vets. So he's in charge of the rookies, I'm in charge of the vets. And like, sad to say, I'm 0 for 2. Yeah, the old rookies, man. They young gunners, boy. We can't keep up with them. But for the most part, a great event. We raised, like, we met our goal both years. But the first year was, I didn't even know a goal, to be honest. It was just like, let's do it, let's see how it goes, you know, and we'll go from there. And we raised a good amount. And then that just transfers over to haircuts and styles for kids, buying the backpacks, buying the jumpers, buying, you know, that type of stuff. So it just goes from one, goes to the other.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the date, because we ain't talked about the date that the event will be taking place. Talk about, you talked about backpacks and jumpers and stuff. Talk about what the kids can, and the families of the kids can experience once they come. I
mean, it's just a fun day. Like, that's the goal. The goal is to project positive energy. Like, that's it. So you come, whether you need a haircut, whether you don't need a haircut, and just have fun. Let your hair down. You know, eat a hot dog, eat a hamburger, eat some of my mom's cookies, drink some of her lemonade. I mean, because that's what a lot of people want to do anyway. And just have fun, man. Let your hair down, relax, chill. Don't drop them off. You know, you have fun too.
Stay with them. That's right. Stay with them.
Yeah, it's not a babysitting thing. But just, like I say, just have fun, man.
Tell us where and what time it is going to be taking place.
August 13th, William Griggs as usual, from 1 to 5. And then this year, like last year, I've been trying several different things to distribute the backpacks. I'm going back to 1 day. First come, first serve. Period. You get there, whether you get there at 12:30, you wait for 30 minutes, 1 o'clock, we're gonna start passing out backpacks to the kids. Once the kid get a backpack, we're gonna mark them and keep on going. If a kid is not there and a parent gets want to get a backpack, that's fine. But she only gonna get one, or he's only gonna get one backpack for that family. The kids have to be present, because the backpacks and supplies are for the kids. That's right. So why not let them get in line and get them? Like, that's the purpose. That's right. So yeah, August 13th, 1 o'clock, William Griggs. Be there.
And you gave me a band here, and this is what the kids will receive also.
Yeah, kids and the family. Like, everybody's gonna get one of these this year. And I brought some for your staff as well. All right. Very good. Basically just a rubber band. On the rubber band, it has my logo, positive contribution, and a little saying that say we want to make a difference. Very good. And that's the bottom line. We want to make a difference.
Know, it's small things like that we don't realize sometimes make a big impact on a kid. To be able to get a fresh start in school, you know, get a backpack with all the supplies, because you as a teacher, you want that child to come, and most parents want their children to come to school prepared to learn. You know, you've had the summer break, now it's back to business, and you want to, and you got a plan for them for that year that you got to get across to them, right? Now let's talk a little bit about, because I know that you were telling me before we came on that you actually yourself are buying 200 backpacks.
I am.
But if there's somebody that was listening, they want to make some donations, where and how can they do that?
Basically, we're still accepting backpacks. We're still accepting monetary donations. If you have a backpack with supplies, or just a backpack, just supplies, just take them to William Griggs Rec Center. Of course, Glenn Robinson, 716. You can also contact me, 706-416-5014. We can meet somewhere. It doesn't matter, man. Like, I'll come and pick them up. You can drop them off. Whatever you want to do.
Very good.
Whatever you want to do.
And sponsorships. And I know that, you know, this is the 10th year and you guys work closely with community sponsors. Talk a little bit about some of your sponsors.
Well,
pick up the phone.
I got to pull it out.
Make sure you don't leave anybody out.
So basically, man, of course, all my barbers and beauticians, man, they're #1 sponsors because they're doing it for free. So those are my #1 sponsors. But, you know, Badcock, they're returnees. Let me see, of course, Clockwork, CPT, Coach Kane. Let me see, Webb's Heating and Air. What we got? Online Boutique, Waffle House, Trucks and Stuff, Webb's Heating and Air. It's a lot, man. It's a lot going on.
Now, if somebody was watching, they wanted to become a sponsor, Mike, is there still an opportunity for them to do that?
Of course. But and to be perfectly honest, probably by the time they see this, I'm signing off on the T-shirts today as far as the logos to go on the back. But now, if it's genuine, you'll still donate. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Regardless of if your logo's on the back of the shirt or not.
Because you can carry over contributions to next year, right?
So,
Absolutely. Well, Mike, you know, I mean, like again, your energy. The kids are definitely going to learn, if nothing anything else, but to pick up your infectious energy, and that's half the battle right there again. And you know, for you to be a male teacher, and I know, and sometimes that the male teachers are few and far between. And you've been in it now for a number of years. I know that you're 10 years doing a wonderful job, man. Thank you very much for what you do here in our community. Thank you for bringing to us, again, the 10th annual Haircuts and Style for Kids. And again, if anything we can do to help you, let us know.
You know, I already told you.
Yeah, I know what we need to do.
Put it on camera.
Okay.
Put it on camera. Like, I'm inviting you again, man. That'll be a sight to see.
Absolutely.
But again, like, it's all about building relationships, man.
That's right.
Like my principal a long time ago used to tell me that, and it again, like that's something else that I learned. When someone tells you something, sometimes it doesn't stick then. You know, it takes maybe a year, maybe a month, maybe a week. Whenever, you know, it has to soak in and marinate. And then, like, she used to tell me, it's about building a relationship. And then when you think about it, that's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? Build a relationship with the parents, with the kids, with the community. And then, you know, once you show that you care, you appreciate them, they'll do anything for you.
That's right.
Like, they'll do anything for you. And I have literally learned that over the course of the years, just in my life. And then just from my parents, man. My parents setting that bar, man. Just like when I go and speak with people and they say, who are your parents? Like my dad just a little more familiar than my mom, just because we used to own the dry cleaners. You know what I'm saying? So when I say my mom, like some people know my mom before they know my dad, and just to hear them say, man, you have a good family. You know what I'm saying? Like your mom is a good person, your dad is a good person. So it's only right for me to carry that on. You know what I'm saying? To carry that legacy. And that's what it's about, man. I'm trying to build my legacy for my family name and me as a person.
Absolutely. Well, Mike, I must say, you're doing a wonderful job.
Appreciate it.
Keep it up.
Thank
you.
It's
been a pleasure having you on the show today. And definitely we know the community will come out August the 13th from 1 to 5 over at the William Gregg Center. Enjoy the festivities going on, but most of all, bring your children out, stay with them, get a backpack, get prepared, ready for his infectious energy. Michael, thank you very much for being on the show.
10 years, baby, decade. That's
all right, there you go. Thank you, sir.
Right on.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for more City Week in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, well, thank you for joining City Week this week. My guests have been from the LaGrange Police Department. I had on Senior First Class Detective Lee Wynn as he talked about crimes of opportunities and as you, as citizens, things that you can do to protect yourselves by not leaving valuables in plain sight, locking your doors, taking your keys. Also, He gave you information. If you wanted more information, give him a call down at the LaGrange Police Department. Ladies and gentlemen, also had on from the Troup County School System educator Michael Fanning as he talked to us about the upcoming 10th annual Haircut and Style for Kids that will be taking place on August the 13th, 2017 at the William Griggs Recreation Center from 1 until 5. Ladies and gentlemen, bring out your kids, have a great time there, make donations, but also let's help our young people get prepared for a great start off for the school year. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've enjoyed these interviews, and as always, I want to invite you back for more of City Week.